We are now in Desjardins chapter 7, aspect 3, employee responsibilities. In this section, we will discuss expertise and vulnerability as sources of what it means to be a professional, as well as sources of what professional responsibility means. We will also discuss professional duty to the public and the employer. Professional employees are those who have special expertise and who are hired for that special knowledge that they possess and the employer does not possess. The employer is thus vulnerable to the harm that these employees could do to the employer, knowingly or not. Being in the position of endangering and taking advantage of someone's vulnerability places special responsibility, moral responsibility, on the person in that position to take extra precautions and not to cause harm to the vulnerable party. We could, again, justify professional duties with regard to vulnerability on the basis that Kantian respect for autonomy of persons requires it. It is precisely one's autonomy that is jeopardized in one's position of vulnerability. This kind of vulnerability would mean that one is not in a position to make informed, rational decisions about one's life. And so, in that kind of vulnerability, it is precisely one's autonomy that is threatened, and it is precisely respect for autonomy that demands that person takes special care with regard to those who are vulnerable on account of that person. Professional employees have special duties toward those who do not possess the expertise they possess and who are thus vulnerable to the professional's actions. But that means that there are two parties that they're responsible to, both the employer and the public. In a housing bubble example, the risk raters had two parties that were vulnerable to their actions, their employer and the public. Professionals, as professionals, simply have a duty to do their job well. And by doing so, they serve the interests of the public. Professionals also have a duty to serve the employer who hires them. But when that duty clashes with the duties to the public and the duties of professionals, the professional and the public duties override the duty to the employer. For example, if a doctor is hired by a hospital, they do have a duty to look after the interests of the hospital, to maximize or to ensure the revenue to the hospital, and that is their duty as employees. But they also have a duty as professionals to do what is best for the healing of their patients, whether that maximizes the revenue of the hospital or not. And the professional duty to the patients and the public overrides the duty to the employer or the hospital, at least when those duties conflict. The professional duty of accountants, likewise, is to do honest bookkeeping. The professional duty of architects is to build housing quality housing, etc. In case of accountants, engineers, etc., it is clear what their professional duty is, according to the easy-to-see products that they produce. But what is the professional duty like in the field of business? That is a question we'll explore in the following aspect.